Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first Living Your Best Life chat. So today I'm super excited that you're all here with me, and I just want to highlight a couple of things of what this platform is going to be about. So what we're going to be covering in this chat event or events that we have monthly will be mindset. So I'll be covering mindset personally and professionally. Also, I'll be covering our bodies, things about our bodies. And hello, do we not want to know about our bodies, right? Because we're going through things, we're needing to be healthy and thriving and everything else that will make us be our best selves. So in addition, we'll be talking about our soul. So that inner peace that is so important for us to be successful. And then also our home, creating an environment of like a staycation because we spend the most time there. So those are 4 topics that I'll be bringing you in this platform with Living Your Best Life chats. So my name is Suzi Picaso. Thank you so much for joining us, friends. I've been an entrepreneur since I was 7 years old when I launched my own little clubhouse on the side of my yard. I charged my friends a penny, and I was just a little adventurous kid since 7 years old, and I still am. So I've been fortunate enough to start 2 businesses, launch a cosmetic line that I was able to sell my cosmetic line internationally, and makeup artist in the industry for 25 years. For the last 10 years, I've been teaching emotional intelligence to college students and adult learners. And that really encouraged me to create this platform. And so I'm excited to be here with you today. So in this chat today, I have a special guest for you, and I want to introduce you to her. Before I do, I just want to read a short bio about her, and then we'll get started. So my guest today is Maribel Jimenez, and she's a diamond. She truly is a diamond, and I couldn't be more blessed to start my show with her. So let me just read a little bit about her. So Maribel Jimenez is an international speaker. She's a best-selling author and marketing launch strategist. She is founder of Your Dream Launch and the new Superwoman Entrepreneur communities, teaching entrepreneurs, coaches, and consultants how to cash in on their gifts through powerful dream program or product launches. For the past 20 years, Maribel has excelled in business development and marketing, including writing successful marketing campaigns, curriculum, and training programs for multi-million-dollar organizations. She's won numerous awards, including the prestigious President's Award through Toyota. She left her 6-figure marketing job to pursue her dream job of starting her own business online so she could have more time with her children. And after immersing herself in figuring out the fastest path to replace her 6-figure income without sacrificing her life to do it, she turned around and began teaching others how they can do it too. So not only does she have all those credentials, but she has been a lifelong, forever friend of mine. We worked together in the Central Valley of California at a nonprofit organization where we were able to really change lives through employing over 1,000 youth in the Central Valley and doing so many other things. So with that, I would like to introduce to you my friend, Maribel Jimenez. Here she is. Hello, Maribel. Welcome.
Hello, I'm so excited. Suzi, oh my gosh. Before we kick off, I just want to tell everybody today's Suzi's birthday, so make sure you send some warm wishes. I lit a candle for her, and
thank you.
You've been such a super duper special friend. I mean, just an amazing person. I'm so happy. And I know that we have questions and stuff, but I just want people to know, to tune in and to hear what you're about, because I've had the privilege of knowing you for 20 years, and yes. I know we look 25, but we're not. I know one of my
Exactly.
sisters from another mister, but
Yes, that's right.
we're sisters, soul
Excuse me.
sisters. So I'm just excited to kick off, and what a privilege to be able to kick off with you today. So
Thank
I'm
you.
ready to rock.
Thank you. All right. So tell us a little bit about you, please, before we get into the questions.
Yeah, well, I want to kick off with a story. So I know that, you know, you listed out some of the credentials, but the truth is, you know, like you, I had an entrepreneurial spirit. You know, I remember at 5 years old, just knowing like I want to have, my parents had a baby clothes store and I want to have a business and I want to help people. I didn't charge because it was my teddy bears that had my office that I was seeing, but in my
Oh,
room, but I had that dream in my heart since 5 years old. Now I had no idea how that was going to happen. And my dad just said, work hard and, you know, stay focused on school. And I did that. And fast forward 20 plus years, I finally realized I found myself in, yes, what looked like a perfect job, living by the beach. Everything seemed perfect, but in my heart, I was still not fulfilled. Like I had this secret desire and I treated everywhere I worked like it was mine. Like this is my company. And that's why I went in full force, but I didn't have mine yet. So finally, you know, what pushed me over the edge is just that I got pregnant again. And I love being a mom. I wanted to be pregnant. It wasn't an accident. And my boss said, you know what, you better bring the crib in your office because you're not getting time off. So
oh
like,
my
and
goodness.
I'm a workaholic as it is. So like,
Yes.
it finally shook me. And I just realized like, you know what I mean? Like we have the power to do whatever we want to do. And it just is about a decision. There's no perfect time. Here I was waiting for the perfect time and 20 years had passed. And I
Yes.
had, you know, or more than that, actually, I had 15 years in marketing already by that point. So there wasn't a perfect time. It was actually seemed like the most ridiculous time. Pregnant, no savings. I mean, I was the head of my household, you know, living by the beach, which is a pretty penny, and you know, just no safety net. And I finally just thought, you know what, now's the time. There is no better time. I went in my car, I said a prayer, and I said, God, this is my secret desire, and I have no idea how I'm going to do it. I have no plan. It's like yesterday I worked here, and today I'm like faced with a decision. And I just felt this calming peace of just, you know, once you make a decision, now your brain kind of focuses in on the plan. You know what I mean? With no
Yes.
decision, you stay in anxiety and worry. So I made the decision, and I just kind of relaxed and you know, just decided that it was time to have my heart's desire, right? To put myself out there and do my thing instead of
Yes.
helping everyone else build their thing. So I felt that peace, went back in the office, and I said, you know what, I'm giving well, my boss was giving me a pay cut because we had won awards and the bonuses were over. So that was one piece of the story. But I said, I'm giving my resignation. And my boss was so furious. He said, he called security and they kicked me out immediately, got my
Oh my
stuff.
goodness.
And he was furious and said to me, you know, if I have anything to do with it, you'll never work again around here. And I'm happy that he said that because I never worked again in a traditional job after that.
Yeah.
So it was like
Oh my goodness.
you know what I mean? I'll never forget those words. And little did he know, he thought he was doing something negative, but it was a
Yeah.
very positive thing that was ingrained. I will never work again in a traditional job.
So good riddance, right?
So I was like,
Goodbye.
I left and I felt like this weight stay there in my job.
Yes.
This release of like, this sounds like, or looks like the craziest thing. It seems the craziest time ever, but I felt this like spirit, just, you know, God just had my back. And that's all I needed to do is take one step at a time, and focus on, you know, that's all it takes, right? Just one step moving forward and commitment. So from that place, I decided, you know what, I'm going to use my skills in marketing and I am going to launch, right? I'm going to kick this off. I'm going to go online and I'm going to just immerse myself. You know, I'm a workaholic at that point, and I didn't know anybody, but I just knew that I was going to immerse myself and figure it out, because I was like the what do they call it? It burnt the boats behind me, or whatever that saying. There was no safety net.
And
like,
you've been a little entrepreneur since I met you at 19. Like,
Yes.
I mean,
I've always had a
constantly
side
crushing it.
business, and I was just afraid to take the leap. So, wherever, if you spread your energy, you can only move a little bit at a time. But if you
Right.
focus your energy, that's when you can move. Like I had to be fully committed, not just dip my toe in, to have true
Exactly.
success. So that's a little bit of, I mean, that was the story of being in my heart, finally, realizing that there is no perfect time, when you have the nudge to just trust yourself,
Yes.
trust
Yeah.
yourself that you're just going to keep taking one step in front of the other. And, there's plenty of mentors and resources out there. You're one of those. I support people, and I'm going to be sharing some keys, some nuggets for people to be able to have some takeaways today. But that's what it
Good.
looked like from the very beginning.
Well,
And
wonderful.
I
Well,
could keep
thank
going,
you
but
for
I know that
sharing
we
that.
have limited time.
Right, right. So thank you for sharing that background, because that kind of gives everyone, our audience, an idea of where you were at and what it took to just say, hey, that was the breaking point. That was my
Yeah.
breakthrough of realizing I have so many talents and so many gifts that I just want to take it to another level. And that means taking the next step of launching for myself. So that rolls right into my first question. And the question is, what is launch?
Yes.
And why would anyone or someone want to do a launch?
Yes. So a launch, is think of it like a party, so when you have a traditional business, you have a grand opening, you tell
Mhm.
everybody about it so that they know it exists. You invite a bunch of people, they come out, they see what you're about, and then if they like it, they continue as a customer. Well, online, it's the same concept of, you have something, a service, a product, or some offering for people. You throw a party essentially online, and you're doing those same things. And I simplify it this way because this is how, it doesn't need to be complicated. I tell people it's like when you throw a barbecue, right? When you throw a barbecue, it's simple. You're inviting everybody, those people are considered warm. Warm relationship, and those people come and you share what's going on, right? And that's the barbecue. Pretty much anybody can do that. Now, planning a wedding is like a year-long thing, and it's a huge undertaking. And a lot of people think online launch is like planning a wedding, but it's just a party, right? Now, you can progress to that, and there's a lot of different ways to do that. But the truth is, you start from where you are. And I want to say to people why I'm so adamant, or why I love launching, is because it's exactly how I kicked off myself. Now, I mentioned I left a job. It wasn't planned. I left, and I had, I didn't know anybody. I was a workaholic. All I knew were my employees, or the people I worked with, and they were
Yes.
not interested in my new offering. They
Okay.
were there, my family, and that's it. So I started from scratch, and I want you to know exactly what I did is, first of all, I immersed myself to learn how do people do this by looking around, and I kicked off and did a launch. Now, it failed, and I'll tell you why. And it's important. I'm telling you why, because you get to skip that part. It failed
Want
because
that.
this is the mistake, is I did everything I saw people doing online, inviting, doing all this stuff. And I thought, if what you have is really great, it's going to go viral, right? Like, you just put your link out there and people are going to click on it.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way.
Right.
I was so discouraged doing everything beautiful. It doesn't matter if people don't know that it exists, nothing happens. So I want you to avoid that mistake right away. And what the missing link is actually inviting people directly and starting, like I mentioned, a barbecue, with a warm invitations to people that you know. Right.
Yeah.
I mentioned I didn't know anybody. Well, I had to hurry up and get to know people. I went networking, and I networked online. Thank goodness these days you can meet people online everywhere on any social media platform, and they become warm the moment you build relationship. So that was really, really important to my next launch, and my next launch is what kicked off my business. I made $25,000 and I realized I can do this every quarter and replace my six-figure income. And that's exactly how it happened. It was just now predictable income every quarter. The parties got bigger. I was able to make them better. But the point of it is people need to know it exists. And once you have that idea, that offering, it's, again, think of it like a barbecue, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're just kicking off with a party so people know. So that's what a launch is, and that's why you would want to do it, is because you can quickly build a community, quickly have people know what you're about. The people that could use your resource can take advantage of it and know how to access it.
Great. Okay. Yeah, no, that's keeping it real too, because so many people, have this idea of, oh, I'm just going to send it out there, or I'm just going to post it. There's so many other elements that take place to make it be successful, which I'm excited for you. At the end of this chat, you'll be giving away a list of some resources with more in-depth and more detail. And
Yes.
I think that's going to be extremely helpful. So thank you for that. So let's go on to question number two. At what stage of business should someone be to consider doing an online launch? At what stage?
Yeah, so I mentioned I kicked off right away because I didn't have any community. So if you're building, you can kick off in the beginning and start small, right? With building those relationships. If you're a traditional business or you already have an audience, then you can kick off a little bigger. As I mentioned, you're applying the same concepts, but you're now have a lot more people, and keep in mind there's statistically numbers of, like, when you invite a certain amount of people, only a percentage of them are going to show up, even if they're friends and family, right? We know that even then, but online it's like 3%. So if you know this statistic, you would want to invite hundreds of people. It might seem like a lot, but this is where you start to put a plan in place and gather with colleagues to invite people to your events. So so the short answer is it's really at any stage you want to expand and grow in a short period of time. That's what launches do. You tell a bunch of people, and then from there you have big traction to be able to move forward and hit your sales goals.
All right, great. And question number three. So what's the biggest thing that makes the difference between a successful and unsuccessful launch?
Yeah, well, I kicked off with one of those stories, just being that you could do everything perfectly, but if you don't actually invite people, it's the same as like a barbecue, right? You could have everything beautifully done, and if you just send something out there and don't confirm, you could have nobody show up. So I think the biggest thing is just understanding that is probably the biggest piece to pay attention to, is the inviting. Just like if you were planning a wedding, right?
Right.
You make the list ASAP and then you work on everything else. You want people to save the date, because all the important people, you want to make sure that this is, without people, how successful is it? And you know what I mean? And we're talking business, but a wedding too, right? You want to celebrate and have people there. So
yeah. And excuse me, I know for you, for like referencing back to what you said, you start with your family and your friends, and sometimes you think that those will be the main people that will be at your party or support your event, but a lot of times they're not. Like, they're busy, they got things going on, and then you're like, whoa, I thought I had 20 guaranteed, or whatever. And so I know for myself, when I've launched businesses or I opened my store, I had these hopes and ambitions of like, oh, I'm going to have like my 20 best friends there, and then like one showed up. So, overextending, over inviting, that always makes a difference. So then that way you're not wondering like, wow, I only invited 20 people and 2 people showed up, right? Versus 200, like you were mentioning. So
yes. And imagine it's kind of like this blind, when you're online, you're not actually having a conversation. So it's like, to give you an idea of numbers, those of you that are, planning to be online, for my first successful launch, I had 3,800 people actually register and confirm to be there, and 300 of them showed up.
Yeah.
So
See?
it's not to intimidate. It's, for me, learning the numbers is what helped me set myself up for winning. Instead of
Yes.
thinking, well, if I have 100, it's going to be at least 75. Well, 100 online is like 30 people, and
Yes.
it's not every person does count. But if you're reverse engineering what you're doing, and you want to have a certain number, predictable, amount of people, if you statistically were really conservative, 1 in 10 having them move forward, or
Mhm.
1 in 20 if it's online and you're barely meeting them, you set yourself up for winning by having that be planned out first. And you secure partners, right? If you want 1,000 people, 10 people helping you with 100 each, you have that. So you're not
Yes.
trying to do it alone. And that's another mistake, is putting it out there, telling nobody. I understand that, because I was scared too, and I didn't even want anybody to show up to my first webinar. I was so scared. Oh, nothing's going to work if nobody shows up. But I was praying, oh God, please don't let anybody show up to this webinar, because I'm so scared. Sure enough, I manifested that. And then next time I'm like, okay, I'll take 10.
Yeah.
And
That
now I'm
always
like, okay,
happens.
bring it on. I'm here to help
Yeah.
the best I can. And I
Oh,
relaxed
that's
into the
funny.
fact that we're here to help people. So,
Yeah.
so
Oh,
those
that's so
are a couple of
good.
mistakes. Get
Yeah. No, that's
support.
so true.
Go.
So I know whenever you're doing, a big project, or you're excited about an event, your expectations within your mind are at a different level than the realization of what comes, right? So I know for myself, when I launched Suzi Q Cosmetics, and I thought my first account would be in the United States, and actually my first account was sold in the UK.
Wow.
So for me, I thought, oh my goodness, how could I have just jumped to that level? Because then it came with all these other licensing and all these other things that, sometimes you wish for something, and then when it gets to that, then you're like, well, wait, I didn't know it was going to come this fast, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
so you just have to put it out there. And I always tell people, put it out there, even if you don't think it's going to be received, because you learn from your mistakes. You learn from just trying. That's all you can do. And it just, press record and go, really, as you're moving forward, and especially in online marketing, which you specialize in. So
Mhm.
if you're finding value right now, anyone out there, if you're finding value in this topic right now, please press the like button, comment, share with your friends, because just like Maribel was saying, sharing, communicating, telling people within your network, it makes such a difference. And every like and every comment, that helps the algorithm for sure. So moving on to the next question. So number 4, what are some mistakes to avoid when creating a launch? So I know you went through some
Mhm.
previously, but are there any key tips right now that you would say this is a big mistake to do?
Yeah, I think if you're not clear or not prepared, like you mentioned, putting stuff out there, and if you're going in with a mindset that, who's going to want my stuff, and who, nobody, like, you know what I mean? Like, when you're first putting stuff out there, you're afraid, right? There's fear of, will anybody like it, or hiding out because, whatever the case, feeling
Yeah.
embarrassed, or whatever the case. I've
Yes.
done a bunch of different businesses and felt all of those feelings. And I think it's important for people to just start where they are, and, be excited about what you're offering. If it doesn't excite you, it's probably not going to excite somebody else, right? Really get
Right.
excited about what you're offering. And I always like to tell people, be prepared for the yes. So whatever it is that you're doing, whether it's any, new product, consulting, anything that you're doing, be prepared for the yes. And that's how you manifest, right? You're
Yes.
prepared with everything that they need to make a decision. And I can't tell you how many people I've worked with that, they want clients and they're looking for sales. And I said, okay, well, how can somebody buy? They don't have a way for somebody to purchase online. And this isn't like I'm mentioning it, but it's because they're so busy trying to put it out there. They haven't actually put in the next steps of people actually clicking on it and buying it and saying yes. And
Right.
so I think it's important when you're prepared for all that, you're so ready for anybody to, once you start putting it out there, to call you and say, I'm ready. How much is it? I'm ready. You know, where can I click to buy? Where can I find out information? Where is it? And all of that has everything smooth. And I'm telling you, there's so many people that they're just, they think just going out there first, and then how are people going to buy, right? If you're not prepared for
Yes.
that. And it's just
Yeah.
about putting the basics. So I think that's the other thing I would avoid. So it's being prepared for the yes, the how they purchase, what is it, how do they purchase, what's the link, right? Having the link ready. If you have PayPal and you don't have a link and you don't really know how to actually have done the sale,
Right.
that could be a problem and you lose the sale, right? Like, you got to be prepared for that. The second thing is to not overcomplicate things. Again, I keep saying to keep it simple, but a lot of times people will go out and start investing their money in all kinds of brochures and all kinds of material before anything's happened. I did that, so that's the only reason I'm pointing it out. So anybody been there, done that? And the truth is, the simpler you can make things, the faster everything pays for itself, right? I started with no money, so I didn't have a choice. So every little bit that came in, you know, I was trying to put myself out there and invest it directly back so that I could grow and have everything in place. But you know, I went down that road of having it be complicated and things didn't move. They went slowly. And once I realized keeping things simple, the core things, right? Having your offering, what is it that you're selling? How much is it? And where can they buy? Those
Yes.
4 things, and being available for that and putting yourself out there has people know that you exist, and it has things move forward so that you can, you know, build your business.
Excellent points to highlight. Definitely. Those are excellent points. And I know for myself, when I put out Suzi Q and I was like, oh, I want to sell at Target and I want to sell at Walmart. I was just like excited about this cosmetic company. And, you know, I couldn't call J-Lo, even though our birthdays are on the same day. Hello, today's her birthday. So
Well,
anyways, we share that date. But anyways, yeah. So I thought, oh, here my line, you know, I'm going to have this. But then when I did decide to pitch, and I actually through the chamber, the Tulare King's Hispanic Chamber, set up an interview for me with the manager at Walmart. And I got in there and I'm like, oh, I'm ready. And then he's like, okay, do you have the 80 SKUs you need in order to start selling here? That was like, no, but I will, you know, I mean, I had to invest in that. But that's where you're at. Like you're saying, like, where are they? How are they going to be able to buy? Because without a SKU, that's not going to happen. So those are key points. And thank you for sharing those. Very, very key points.
Well, let me highlight one thing about you, Suzi. You're not afraid to move forward. So just for anybody, you know, being ready is as ready as you can be. And sometimes you don't even know what is the next step.
Right.
Moving forward, like you were prepared to make sales, but you know, now you were going to the big time. You know what I mean? You hadn't experienced it yet, but I love that, you know, I'm glad those of you that are listening or listening later, but Suzi's like one of the most amazing people to just keep taking action. And that's exactly how you learn, right? Just take the next step. The worst thing you can do is do nothing, because nothing is happening. Taking a step is the fastest you learn, and immersing yourself and moving forward and figuring it out and course correct as you go, just like an airplane does, 90% of the time? Course correct, and you finally get to where it is that you want to go. So I just want to highlight that, Suzi, because you're just amazing at that. That's why you've done amazing at everything you've put forth.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. All right. So moving on to the next question. So let's see here. Were we on number 5? I think we were, right? Yeah. So can you share what you recommend as the starting place for someone who wants to launch for the first time or do it again. So right now we're, in this COVID-19 situation, and some people are wanting either to enhance their business because now they have to create a different model. Restaurants are having to set up outside. Companies like even Chambers and other companies that normally were more personable with networking, luncheons, mixers, now they have to do something different with whether they use Zoom or StreamYard, like the platform I'm using. And so what would you recommend for those seeking advice in that area?
Yeah, well, right now what the good thing about it, I mean, everything's going virtual, right? So I know I've been online for the last 10 years. And all I think the goal is whatever it is that you're doing, that there's a tremendous amount of people online to be able to access. So it's hard I like to be specific. So I'll just name out some specifics. If you were starting to do something like, Suzi and I love Arbonne products.
Yes, we do.
So
Love
if you were doing something
plant-based.
like that, that is a company that's already built, and you're able to just plug right into it, then you go online and you start building relationships. Find, like Suzi, you build a community online. You open up and get started, one person at a time. Putting
Yes.
yourself out there to create relationships. So essentially, it's what you would normally do traditional, right? Go out networking and meet people, because that's it's important to put yourself out there and connect. Well, you're doing that online. So look for the platforms of who it is, what's like attracts like. So where are you most active? What is your favorite platform? And focus in energy on building relationship. It's so easy online. People are not afraid to respond when you're acknowledging what they're doing, right? They're not afraid because they're not actually touching you or anything. Online is where people are, and especially during these tough times that if you're in lockdown, wherever you are in the world, people are online more than ever now. They're accessing information more than ever now. So just building relationship is really the starting place. Period. No matter if you don't know exactly what you're doing yet, start building relationships. Start sharing what you're about. Serve first, right? The give and receive. Just before I was ready, I just started helping people, right? Helping people. And then now they were ready for, well, how could I help you? And
Yes.
because I'm prepared for the yes, I'm like, I'm glad you asked.
Good job.
I pull out my list. Here's 5 ways you could. I'm just kidding. I didn't. I did have that one. You know what I mean? I am prepared
Yeah.
for it. Yes, prepared to build relationship. Always ready to support each other, and you can do that online. So that, I think, is the place for any business, traditional. If you're starting brand new, if you were starting any brand new consulting or any sort of work that you're moving from employee to online, you're starting with that relationship, and the clear, relationship is first before anyone wants to hear what you're doing, right? You don't just lead with, come buy my product, or no one listens. So if you're helping people, now they're interested in, okay, what exactly are you doing? Well, I have this amazing, service, and this is how it works. Prepared for the yes, available for that. So that's the key, really, just doing that. And I've never stopped doing that from day one. You don't
That's
just stop. Now, we're in the 20,000 plus people. I never stop building relationships, because that's what it's all about, helping people, and they need to know that you exist.
Oh, yeah, for sure. No, those are great keys, great points. And also just to highlight the importance of giving back, like you mentioned, sharing samples, creating a page, which is different than your personal page, maybe a group page to just kind of pull in a few so you can get some feedback from them to say, hey, this is something I'm thinking about doing. Is this something you would need? Solving a problem and bringing value, I think is really what's important and what people are looking for right now. And you never know, your item could be the next, it could be the next paperclip. Like I always say, hello, why
Yes.
didn't I invent the paperclip? Or why didn't I, something so simple that we use
Yes.
every day, but that person did. And we are where we are now. So we can't live without them. Or Post-its. Oh, I could have cut square papers, So don't minimize what you may have in your mind or what you're thinking about, because you just never know. You just have to put it out there. So
Yeah.
Yeah, super important. All right. So last question, as far as the questions I want to ask you about launching is, I know you put together a special bonus for our listeners. And so can you share more about that?
Yes. So what I prepared is a prepare to launch guide, right?
Okay.
If you know how to prepare first, then you won't be intimidated on what this is all about. So I've broken it down. I also included a checklist in there, a planner. It's got some key areas to pay attention to because I know, again, when you set yourself up and put the foundation in place, it just gets better and better and better. And so that's available for free. You can have that. Of course, it also has, you can see the link below. It also has ways to connect if you want to build a relationship with me, right? We're online with Suzi. She's, stay connected to these chats. She's got some amazing guests, and we're here to support. So I really want to support people and just getting out there. Just make that decision if you're interested in a business or want business growth. You know what I mean? It's challenging times for some businesses. Maybe it's time to do it different. If you're looking for that growth, this is definitely a way to support you in getting big results in a short period of time and continuing to do this to grow your business. So with that, I thank you, Suzi, so much. I don't know if you have any other questions, but I want to make sure people get that resource. I appreciate being here on your birthday and kicking
Yay.
off.
It's been great. So yeah, so they just go to yourdreamlaunch.com LG, right?
Yep.
And launch guide, LG launch guide. And then they can download those 5 tips and kind of get a little bit more detail about if you're thinking about launching, and then also connect with you because your information will be on that site as well. So that would be really good. And so those were all the questions. Do you have anything else to add that, maybe, something else that you think maybe someone would want to know that's at home right now thinking about launching a business or enhancing a business that they have, or just some I know we went through a few strategies, and then you'll also have them on the list.
Yeah,
Any last
I
minute
do.
comments?
I do. Thank you. I just want to, again, my intention, as I mentioned over and over, is to keep it simple, right? Just give you more of an overview and some stories. But again, the guide goes in more depth where you could fill it out and actually see where to put your focus. Because at the end of the day, it's 80% mindset, 20% tactical. So there's tactics there that you can immediately use in the guide. But the key, and this is why we talked about some stories, is mindset. It's really all about, whatever you have in your heart that you want to put out there, anything that you're, goals that you have, visions for your business, whatever it is that you want to grow. It starts with that decision and just moving forward towards it every day. And I love giving people this. My favorite quote is by Henry Ford. It's, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. It's not up to anybody else. It's actually up to you. So whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. So just choose that you can, because no
Yes,
matter what, as long as you're moving forward, you can fail forward all the way to the finish line.
that's
As
right.
long as you don't quit. And successful people fail more than anybody else in the world,
They
because
do.
they learn from it and they move
Mhm.
forward. So you don't have to fear that. Just trust yourself to move forward, period, and take everything in as lessons to move you forward. So you get to have whatever you want to have. And
Yes.
that's what I want to leave you with, because
Oh,
that's what I'm
that's great.
passionate about. And I'm excited that Suzi's living her dream as well and sharing with you all. And I'm just excited that I got to be here, kick off.
Yay. Thank you, Maribel. That's a great quote. I love it. And I love it. And again, just tying in, wrapping up what we've been talking about today, our brain is really like a magnet, and we're constantly training it to do what we want it to do. So if we're training it for saying yes, it's going to
Yeah,
go to yes. If we're training
right.
it to look at everything as, oh, we can't leave the house, I can't do this. I mean, imagine we have all the resources at our fingertips. Our
Mm.
phones are everything. I mean, half the time people are now marketing to our phones. Everyone has a text phone number now, and they could send you messages, and your package will arrive in an hour, or whatever. So we just really have to focus on all the blessings and all the good that we have that are helping us be successful, and all the resources as well. So that way we can get to that next step of being successful, of launching our business, of doing our best, and and just being, doing what you want in life, because that's what it's all about. Tomorrow, I share with my students, I share with you that yesterday is gone. We can't change anything from the past. So any mistakes that we've made, they're gone. We can't change them. Tomorrow's not promised. So just do the best that you can in this moment. Do it today, because today is everything in this moment. So with that, thank you, Maribel, so much for being here today. I'm so happy we got to share my birthday together, at least through this event, right?
Yes.
For any others, please check back and look at the next video that I have coming up. And if you want to go deeper with us here with Living Your Best Life on mindset, body, soul, and home, this is where you want to be, right here with us as much as and in many times as you can. And I just appreciate everyone who is supporting this community and this platform. So have a great day, everyone. Be well and stay safe.
Bye.